and welcome to another Walt Disney Wednesday. Today I am scrapbooking 2 photos from meeting Ariel at Epcot at Akershus. And right, I've got my white cardstock for my background, and I have some mermaids. So this is from Dear Lizzie's newest Stay Colorful collection, which has mermaids and permaids, if you please. Not catmaids, but permaids, obviously. And then mermaid scales on the back, or fish scales, or just scallopy prettiness, whatever you want to call it. So I thought I would go ahead and use a little bit of a themey type thing. I don't think it's going to be, well, I don't know how much it's going to be. I don't know. But I'm also going to use this in the background. Now, were it not this album, I would probably just start with this page, with this paper, and go right with that because I like that combination. But I'm using all that white in this album, and that made me think that this could look really nice with just a really big border of white around the edge. So I'm just going to cut it down to be able to have that frame, and I think that will make it work. Let's see here. It's going to be quite a big frame. Quite often when I'm putting a paper in the middle, I just do half an inch off 2 sides so that I can have just a little 1/4 inch frame all the way around. But in this case, one, because of the design, I need to take it off every side to still have the diagonal go corner to corner. And I want the frame to be bigger. Just like that. Yes, but I want it to go that way. This is also Dear Lizzie Stay Colorful, by the way. It has swans on the other side. This is the B side, and I just really like it. Okay, so that's going to go there. I think I'm going to keep the 2 photos together as they are. And then do some matting and some cut aparts. So why don't I go ahead and cut apart these cut aparts that I like. So this one has Ride a Unicorn, Swim with Mermaids, Chase Rainbows, which might be nice. Also has this Stay Magical that is in this peachy color that I'm going to use, which I think is a great match for Ariel's hair. Yeah? Because her hair is actually that color there. And this is just a softer tone, a softer shade of that same color. So I like that idea. And then the other cut apart is this one, which I've used some of already, but has that little tag with the mermaid on it. Brings in another shade of turquoise, so we'll see how that goes, but the mermaid is that shade there. Cut a strip of the mermaid paper to go right across the middle, and I've cut it so that I can have my red-headed mermaid over to this side. I'm just going to offset that a little bit. I have added gray ink to these edges because I'm going to have blue on blue, and I want to have a little bit of defining edge there. And then this mat, and this one is peaches or oranges on one side, and then that single colored print on this side. I think if we are talking about Disney World photos, you could definitely use that side for a page with citrus swirls or the orange bird, should you have such an adventure. Okay. She's going to go just over to that side. Got a little bit, this is actually just what was there, but of this kind of scaly print that I want to layer in there as well. Just a little bit. And I recently rediscovered my doily stash after moving it into a safe place for a while and not being able to find it. It is back! And so I am very much enjoying putting doilies on all the pages. And this is going to be no exception. I'm just looking for where I want the doily to go. That's where it needs to be. I need the nice delicate thing where I have that big block of the scales. So, right, I can cut half of that away so that I can use it somewhere else. Make my doily stash last a little longer. And then I think this will work better Does it need to go that way? That way. I think that way. Like the picture. Yeah, I can put this down here now. Square that up a little bit. I'm not sure if I want to then add in another mermaid piece. Let's see. That's a lot of repetition of such a specific image. So maybe I'll leave that out. I'm also not convinced on this one because it's that same pattern as the background, but the angle is different. I think they would be better on 2 different pages. I don't have more than one meeting Ariel page to do though. This is the only time that we've had photos with Ariel. And I was thinking, do I just cut it down to just swim with mermaids? So that is also an option. So keep that out. I think this might look quite nice up here though. And I could put it with just a tiny smidge of doily. Is that too much doily? Is there such thing as too much doily? I don't know. But I could add a little bit more of the scales up there. Just a tiny bit. Let's see. So speaking of places you can meet Ariel at Walt Disney World in Florida. So this is at this is the restaurant in Norway, which is a princess meal at Epcot. And then you can also find her. She appears as a mermaid in the grotto at Magic Kingdom, which is in New Fantasyland, which is a bit where you need to go back behind as if you were going to be our guest, but then swing a right and keep on going. I say that because it is completely possible to entirely miss it if you don't know it's there. That needs a little bit on that side, doesn't it? So if you want to meet her as a mermaid, that's where she is with a tail. And you can also meet her as a human with feet, but with Prince Eric at Trattoria Al Forno at the boardwalk, which we haven't done yet, but we are going to do this year coming. So excited about that. You also meet Rapunzel and Flynn at that one. So that sounds good to me. I've only heard good reports. Okay, what else is this going to need? I need a spot for some journaling, and I'm just trying to decide, do I go ahead and write straight onto this? I think it would be quite nice with the white pen on there. And so I think, I know this kind of could read as a title all on its own, but I have a specific title that I would like to put on here after, at first, being completely stuck and then having a chat with a friend who then said, why are you not thinking about lyrics from The Little Mermaid? So now I have a title. My next step for layering on this page is the Maggie Holmes sticker book, which has these same shades. So you can see right there at the beginning, it's got that pink and the more orangey corally shade as well that's here that I'm using to go with her hair. So I've gone through and I've picked out a whole bunch of stickers. There's also this green. So here's the madness that I do to make this a little simpler. I go through and I pick out all the stickers that I think are a good match, and I just stick them to things on my desk. Sometimes I stick them to an acrylic block or a little around the edge of a little bowl or something, but just whatever, I can just put them on the edge so then I can see everything that I have to coordinate instead of flipping back and forth through 30 pages. Now, I'm going to bring in that mint. I want to make sure that when I'm layering, some things go on top of the mat, some things go under the mat, and that is always key to how it all goes together. I'm going to bring in this floral up here, which is quite a delicate print. And I've got a little bit of that same floral to then bring up to the top here. And I have a second tone of floral. So they're both a similar style of drawing, but this one has the the green roses, and this one is going to have the peachy color. So I'm going to put one there to frame that, and then I have a smaller one to bring up to this corner here. I've got another little label here to tuck away. I think this one might actually be best right underneath the doily. Straighten that out just a little bit. And then this big Think Happy piece, I think I'm actually going to run over here, right on top of the photo, over to there. And now I'm already just down to the smaller pieces. So I find it looks like I've pulled out so many stickers, and then actually it doesn't. It's not all that much once you start sticking. I'm going to put the journaling down here, so I think this one that says remember this and points down to where the journaling is going to be will make a lot of sense once the words are on there. It might look a little out of place right now, but I think it will look better once the words are there. I've got one with the date. By the way, I've made this magical list. Magical. I overuse that word now, and I overuse it with no apologies. So I made this list for my album this year because I often will scrapbook a photo and then get to the end and go, oh, I have to go back to my phone or my computer and look up the date. But with our Disney trip, I know what we wore and where we went every day, so I just wrote it onto a schedule. So there were all our dates on this trip. This is the parks that we were in. And these are the outfits. So by looking at our photos with what we're wearing, I know immediately what the date is, and I don't have to keep going back and forth a million times. So, I mean, I at first was keeping it just inside my album, and then I realized that I could just put it on the wall behind me. So that's where it lives now. Right. This will go right over the top there. Not convinced. I think it might need to be underneath instead. Make it a little bit smaller so it's a bit more delicate. It was just feeling a bit too chunky. Okay. I've got these little bows to bring the color scheme of the two florals together. So I have the color, if I can get it in a good spot, the color of those roses in a bow to go here, and the color of these roses in a bow to go there. That's my thought. Just trying to get it so that I don't see an edge coming through that little gap. What if it goes there? Oh, that's covering up pretty much all of the flower, so that's not quite so lovely. If I put it over here, where do I need to put it to not cover the words? Right down there at the bottom. That'll work. And then this one, it's quite pink, that one actually. Maybe this one needs to come up here with those green flowers. I think so. And then I have a little flag with the green color. Can bring the green back closer to the photo here. Got a couple little sentiment pieces, just little word strips. I can never have enough word strips. And I've got one that says beautiful because I want to work that in, and because he thought she was so beautiful. Her beautiful hair he kept talking about. That's all except these two little hearts. So I'm already through all those stickers. So this is the only place I've got a heart so far. And I've got this little empty space here. So there we go. So all of those stickers are from the Maggie Holmes sticker book, which I have been using so much. I find it a really versatile book. And even if you don't use a lot of Maggie's papers, I think there's a lot of stickers in there that will work well. Alright, journaling here, and The title's going to be worked into here, I think. Yeah. The good news is I got that whole big mixed up title in and I really love it. But the bad news is I ran out of room for this. So I just pulled it off and I'm going to rework it a little bit smaller. So I'm actually going to cut down the big box to make it just a little smaller. And I might need to cut down the scales or they might work. So let's have a look. And take a little bit off this without losing the wording. And then just put the ink back on. So that's going to make it a little lighter. And I think it needs to come right up to the top. And then the W will need to come over. That's okay. Now, what about this? I can frame that wording there. What I found was that I just kept, either I would have the wonderful so far over that it would run right over the top of the magical, and that wouldn't work. Or I would end up with so much, with all of these letters kind of on the edge of the scales, going over the edge of it, and it just kind of looked messy and hard to read. And I do like to stick to that idea of layered but legible. That's my happy place in scrapbooking. Okay, so I'm going to pull the W up to this underneath. Hopefully I can get that placed just so that it's not too messy. There we go. That'll work. Okay, and then the stickers that I took off are here. Now, will they fit over here? Yeah, I'm just going to bump them over to the edge a little bit. Now, I will say this Stay Magical is a little bigger than ideal with this kind of title, but I like the flow that I'm getting from that color, so it's okay with me. I do want to now, however, bring something outside this box because I've broken this box to go into the white up here, so I'd like to take that color and bring it down to this corner as well. So I am not going to be able to put it on top because that would be disconnected with this line of journaling, so I'm just going to tuck it underneath and my layer over here will be under that. So I have this scallop punch sitting here on my desk because when I looked at the mermaid scale paper, this kind of spoke to me. I used to use this punch on almost every layout and I haven't used it in ages. I just thought it would be a nice little detail. So I'm going to cut a little strip with that on the edge. And I will probably then add in that shape somewhere else in the layers too. Just so it's not lonely. That's why I like more. I just don't like things that are lonely on my pages. Something like that anyway. So that comes almost to the edge on the one at the top. So I'm going to do as close to the same as I can here. Which this is a little bit too big, so then I will just add more things to this. I can bring in some more of the stickers from the sticker book. Just checking to see if the doily, I think, yeah, I'm just going to keep that little touch of the doily there and not bring it in down here. But I am going to bring in some more stickers. I think I have that same bow that's at the top. So I'll look for one of those. I've got pretty close. I've got the next shade to this. So will that fit down here maybe? Yeah, just, right? It might be too big. Okay. And I've got little hearts in the right colors, so I can bring those in. They're small enough to work. Pink one, a little green one. Ah, and I do have another of the pink bows that were at the top. So that bow can be down here. Just need to find a flower that will work. And maybe a label. This label would be a good one. A little smaller. What about those green flowers? Do I have anything left with that green floral print? Yes, I do. I have this piece here. I have a giant one there, but that would not fit in that space. A little tab. Quickly going to flip through, but I think I've probably got just about what I need now. Yeah, let's try that. That just happens to be the right size to go between that descending letter there and that descending letter there, and things like that make me very happy. And then this layer is going to come over here. Now, that green is a different green. So I'm just going to take that part off and use the flowers on their own. At a little bit of an angle there. And then the bow as well. Now, what about that guy? He is too big, isn't he? I'll put him back in the book for later. Pink heart and a green heart. Okay. Now, I want to put a little more gold on this layout, but I don't want to do it with the with gold mist, because throughout this album I tend to be using the gray mist, and I would like the gray mist on this page too. I think it'll be a nice little touch. So instead of using gold in the mist, I'm going to use gold with some little heart stickers. So first, I'll put the gray mist on, and I'm going to follow this diagonal line. I want to bring the mist in here where the title has gone a little bit more this way, which is fine. So it's basically that I have a vertical column going here, but I also have a diagonal here to soften it. So it's kind of combining two of my favorite ways to compose a page. So I want this mist to fill in that gap a little bit. And then come down here. Actually, wouldn't mind some on the mermaid paper here. It's kind of sitting there lonely. I don't like lonely embellishment. Oops. Let's just do it that way. There we go. If your photos don't, it depends on the finish you use, the photo paper and all of that sort of stuff, as to whether the mist comes right off the top. These I can just wipe mist straight off the top without any trouble. If you don't, just cut a piece of paper to 4x6 and keep it in your desk drawer and put it right over the top of the photo. And then when you put the mist, it's just covered. It's easy. Don't make yourself hard work. But that's also why I just leave it, because I don't need to make myself hard work when I know that with those photos it will just wipe right off the top. Okay, I'm going to go to each of these little spots that have layers and add in some lovely little gold foil hearts. These are in Maggie's book, but there's also a whole page of them in my sticker book. So you can get gold hearts for everything. No, I think that makes that too vertical. So maybe over here though. Oops, straighten that one up a little bit. Got a mind of his own. Come back. That's a bit straighter. I need something over to this side as well because I'm following that diagonal, so I've got kind of loose here and then here. So maybe if I bring in one to here as well. And then one down to this bottom corner. Oh, I could put it right here. I ended my journaling with a heart with the pen, which I often do. I've only got one left, so I feel like I should just add it in. And I put it up here in the flower. Oh, I actually quite like this idea here. Okay. So it all blends down like that. So, lots of letter stickers, new and old. Lots of stickers from the Maggie Holmes sticker book. And the mermaid themed papers from Dear Lizzie Stay Colorful, which is just hit shops recently. And a little word about mermaid paper. So today I wanted to show you using something that kind of falls under the random category of embellishments that some people think, you know, I like the idea of the pretty mermaid on the paper, but what do I use it for? And today I wanted to show you something more literal. There are lots of different ways that you can use those more random things on a Disney trip because there are all sorts of things like that. I have in Box of Crayons, there's a little dog, a little pair of dogs that are very much like Lady and the Tramp. There's a chameleon who's inspired by Pascal in Tangled, so if you have any pictures from the Tangled section or meeting Rapunzel, then you can use the chameleon things there on a literal level. There's a red mini inspired polka dot that can be used at a literal level, and there are some tiki birds. By the way, there's also some tiki birds in here in the Maggie Holmes. I would totally use these on a layout with photos from the Tiki Hut. So yeah, I think there are lots of literal ways that you can use those embellishments in a Disney album for sure. You don't need Mickey on every single page. You can embrace all the different characters of the Disney universe. But anyway, on this subject of random embellishments, starting this Sunday on the 1st of April, happy Easter, by the way, I'm going to run a month-long challenge for using those types of things that fall under the quote-unquote random embellishment, or random themes of papers and embellishments and stickers and all of those sorts of things. Oh, wait. I just realized as soon as I turned off the camera and it said goodbye and thank you and all of that, that I said I'd use that scallop punch again so that this scallop punch piece wasn't lonely. So I'm going to do that now. One of the cut-aparts had that slightly darker shade of the turquoise, the same one that I'd already cut up. So I've punched that, and I'm going to bring that up to the top into this grouping up here, or do I put it here? I could put it there. I could put a little bit of both, actually. And then I'd have it in 3 places. Okay, so this to go here. And a little bit up at the top. And then my scallops are not lonely anymore. Phew. Now they have friends. All is good. Okay, that's really the end. Thank you very much. If you like it, thumbs up and subscribe to see more. Love you all. Bye-bye.